And good afternoon. Welcome to the We Believe Digital Studios in Jackson, Mississippi for our twice weekly news break program. So glad you're joining us today. Chris Young just took a look at the weather, clear skies, 80 degrees, heading for 86 today. No chance of rain, it looks like, till possibly on Thursday evening, maybe. So let's start out on the local level. Got about 15 stories or so to share with you today, so let's get to it. In Jackson, Mississippi, just this horrible story of this comes from NBC News. 7 months of searching for her lost son brought Betterston Wade to a dirt road leading into the woods past an empty horse stable and a scrapyard. The last time she'd seen her middle child, an adult son, Dexter Wade, was on the night of March 5th. Left home with a friend. She reported him missing eventually, and Jackson police told her they'd been unable to find him. It wasn't until 172 excruciating days after his disappearance that Betterston learned the truth. Dexter had been killed less than an hour after he left home, struck by a Jackson police car as he crossed a nearby interstate highway. Police had known Dexter's name and hers, but failed to contact her, instead letting his body go unclaimed for months in the county morgue. Now, in early October, and Betterston had finally been told where she could find her son. Grave number 672 at Hinds County Penal Farm. The police vehicle was driven by an off-duty police officer. The police officer was charged with manslaughter, and at no time in this nearly a half a year did the Jackson police reach out to the mother, who they knew had her information. And members of the family had continued to check with the police, looking for updates, so they knew who everybody was, but they kept this under wraps. Apparently, the officer had been found guilty of manslaughter, but is appealing, according to a story on NBC News. So, the Hinds County Board of Supervisors had approved burial for a pauper's grave, which, and so Betterston Wade is in the process of getting the body removed from there for a proper burial. I got a funny feeling we haven't heard the last of this horrific incident. If you're the driver of a Kia or a Hyundai vehicle made from 2011 to 2021, JPD says you need to start taking extra precautions. According to the Jackson Police Department, there have been 8 Kias and 7 Hyundais stolen in just the month of October alone, and we're still in the month. 230 so far this year. If you do not have the push-to-start vehicle right now, those are the ones they're targeting. So take heed if you're a owner of 2011, 2021, either Kia or Hyundai. Bring the car in to the dealership. There's a safety modification that can be made to make it so that these vehicles are not so easy to be stolen. Several prominent City of Jackson buildings could once again be featured in a new television series that producer says will be similar to The Wire. On Tuesday, Jackson City Council voted to allow Sweet Unknown South to use several city properties in the filming of a new Jackson-based show called The Warrant Unit. The request was made by Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba at the behest of the production company and was voted on at the council regular meeting on Tuesday. The owner of Sweet Unknown South urged the council to back the measure, saying it would bring jobs and prestige to the capital city. And we certainly could use jobs and prestige. According to the company, of the filming will take place between October 25th and December 15th. Advance advance notice of filming will be provided to the city prior to shooting times. City is not charging the company, but is requiring it to have a $1 million property insurance policy and general liability policy to cover any damages. Filming take place in the Hinds County Courthouse also, specifically in Judge Winston Kidd's courtroom. And Kidd says, quote, "Because I'm dealing with police, I want it to be Jackson Police. I want it to be something that we can be proud of, showing the city of Jackson to be bigger than what you might see on 60 Minutes, unquote." So we move out of Jackson and Hinds County into the broader Mississippi state news stories, and reminding you that once again, today is another day that no Republican administrators, no Republican elected officials, legislators have called for a public hearing on the largest fraud case in the state's history, where a minimum of $77 million was pilfered under Republican administration, Republican appointees, and turned into a slush fund for their pet projects. This federal safety net money provided by the government for the poorest of the poor in Mississippi families. And these people took it upon themselves to say, "Oh, the hell with all that. We've got this money and nobody's looking, so we're just going to use it for what we want to use it for." They set up a scheme to kind of make it look like they were using some of it, but all kinds of millions of dollars go into things that have nothing to do with this federal safety net program. You know, remember with the Brett Favre $5 million volleyball facility down at USM, sending former wrestlers out to rehab out in Malibu, first-class plane tickets. The current governor, who claimed he had nothing to do with nothing, it's lies. You know, there was at least this item of a $1.3 million fitness contract, fitness coach for boot camp for the governor and his buddies. Just really, really pathetic. And they just won't hold any hearings on it. And we found out recently that the state attorney general, Lynn Fitch, a Republican, should have been the one investigating all this, but instead, because she's got a house full of lawyers over there, by one estimate, 150 lawyers working for her, and they should have investigated this fraud case, but no, they deferred and hired private attorneys. So taxpayers paying for her and all her people's salaries. Now they're paying again for private attorneys that are attempting to claw back some of the money, but not all the money. A sad thing. Democrats have held 2 hearings. The Republicans have held 0 hearings on this. In a story from Mississippi Today, it might not surprise Mississippians, the Cook Political Report, regarded as one of the nation's preeminent election experts, shifted their 2023 Mississippi's governor race forecast on Monday in Democrat Brandon Presley's direction. And now the Cook Political Report moved the governor's race on Monday, this past Monday, from likely Republican to leaning Republican. A shift in Presley's direction is just one notch away from being considered a toss-up. And there's coordinated activity going on to try to bring out especially the black vote by the Mississippi Democrats, trying to get people to turn out, and we'll see what happens. The race is considered to be much closer than has been reported by other folks here in Mississippi. In the Attorney General's race, Republican incumbent Lynn Fitch will be facing candidate Greta Kemp Martin on November 7th. Much like the governor's race, there's mudslinging in the Attorney General's race. Kemp Martin is taking her shot at Fitch, saying she's falling down on the job of serving the people. yesterday they had a press conference outside the Attorney General's office, and Kemp Martin says her Republican competitor, the incumbent, has taken a back seat when it comes to serving her state, and today brought proof. This again was yesterday over at outside the Attorney General's office. Quote, while many may not fully grasp the profound impact the Attorney General has in their day-to-day lives, as well as the impact that one Attorney General can have across the country, those standing with me today and countless others who couldn't be with us understand the impact all too well, Kemp explained. Those impacted, the families and attorneys of three high-profile cases were there yesterday. This is Christian Andreacchio, Tasha Shelby, and Michael Corey Jenkins, and Eddie Parker. The last two on the Jenkins and Parker, back in January this year, brutalized, tortured by Rankin County deputies and a Richland police officer. Unspeakable torture. Really, when it all boils down, their victims were black and all of them are white. And all six of these guys, mysteriously, when does this happen in Mississippi? Mysteriously, all six ended up pleading guilty to federal and state charges, no longer cops, and that just doesn't happen. So I wonder what's going on there. The sheriff of Rankin County has continued to resist calls for his resignation. There's no way you could have a squad of 5 people plus one from Richland out there, busting door downs without any kind of a warrant, without the sheriff knowing about it. So this is a deep-seated issue over here in Rankin County that nobody wants to talk about. And this new white Democratic Attorney General candidate, Greta Kemp Martin, who was on the We Believe Digital Sizzling in Mississippi show on Monday night, has no hesitation in calling the incumbent out and providing evidence and so forth. So we'll see how this goes. If there's any chance that this Attorney General's race can be switched over, you would think that these good Christian people in Mississippi, regardless of their political stripe, wouldn't take it very well to find out that the Attorney General just simply not doing her job on some of the basic fundamental issues that she's supposed to be taking care of. A new report, this from WJTV, a new report shows that Mississippi ranked 4th among the worst states for healthcare. Big shock. Forbes Advisor compared all 50 states across 24 metrics to uncover the worst states. According to the report, Mississippi ranked worst in the nation for several outcome-related metrics, including infant mortality, stroke mortality, influenza, and pneumonia mortality rate, as well as kidney disease mortality rate. And of course, this follows up U.S. News and World Report ranking Mississippi 49th overall in healthcare, 50th in healthcare quality, and 45th in healthcare access. Just a crumbling healthcare system, and the incumbent leadership seems to be doing nothing about it. So we'll go ahead and dip out there for a couple of commercials. Got one more story on the Mississippi front to share with you, and then about the election coming up, and then we'll be back with you for our final segment.
Hey, have you heard about the Accountable Card? It's more than a card. It's a complete mobile banking service that's accountable to all of us. You'll get a no-credit check debit card good anywhere Visa is accepted to make purchases, deposits, even get or transfer cash with an FDIC-insured bank account managed from our smartphone app. There's even a pre-approved no-interest line of credit if you need emergency cash. So why go to the bank when you can have ours in your pocket? Get accountable. Just download our app today.
Are you Dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur, but you're not sure where or how to start? At Entrepreneurs Academy 101, our online program will guide you step by step on how to start and grow your own business. We offer courses such as how to write a business plan, how to create a budget, and so much more. Our online training program is designed for you to learn at your own pace, and there's no set order to complete this program. Because our academy is online, you have the choice to learn with a group, with friends, or individually. Upon completion of the entire curriculum, you will receive a certificate of achievement to acknowledge that you have completed the training needed to become a successful entrepreneur. So enroll today to design the life that you love. Contact your entrepreneur coach, Brenda Myers, at 601-672-0695 or visit our website at www.entrepreneursacademy101.com for more information.
Welcome back to We Believe Digital Newsbreak. Glad you're with us today. One more story on the Mississippi front. Mississippi received more than 15,000 absentee ballots ahead of the general election. As of Monday, October 23rd, the statewide election management system, SAMS, reported a total of 23,321 absentee ballots requested, 22,697 absentee ballots sent, and 15,000 have been received. So it looks like that system is working, at least to some degree, and there's plenty of people that want to get, for one reason or another, they're not able to be available on election day, so they want to get their vote in now. So we'll shift over to a quirky story on the national level. This comes to us from CNN. This story about this off-duty pilot. This guy was allowed to sit in a jump seat where he had access to and accused of trying to shut down the engines of an Alaska Airlines plane mid-flight on Sunday. He said he was having a nervous breakdown and told the flight crew he needed to be subdued, according to a federal complaint. Alaska Airlines pilot Joseph D. Emerson, 44, been charged in federal court with interfering with the flight crew. Charge comes on the heels of dozens of state charges in Oregon, including 83 felony counts of attempted murder, 83 counts of reckless endangerment, and 1 count of endangering an aircraft, the booking records show. He pleaded not guilty to all state charges on Tuesday. He attempted to cut the fuel of the plane's engine while the flight was en route from Washington State to San Francisco on Sunday. It was quick action by the aircraft's captain and first officer that kept the engines from failing completely, the airline said. He was subdued by members of a flight crew, but then attempted to grab the handle of an emergency exit during the flight's descent. Flight was forced to divert to Portland, Oregon, where the suspect was taken into custody. While in custody, he told the police he became depressed 6 months ago. He denied taking any medications, but he did discuss psychedelic mushrooms with the responding officer. The officer and Emerson talked about the use of psychedelic mushrooms, and Emerson said it was his first time taking mushrooms. So how about that? And a lot of people trying to legalize these mushrooms. I've unfortunately seen people with my own eyes just react so really bizarrely, adversely when taking these mushrooms, not understanding the dosage, thinking they have something that's bigger than it is, etc. Next story on the national level, the next speaker vote is expected very shortly for the leaderless House of Representatives. Mike Johnson of Louisiana is the 4th Republican nominee. It's unclear if he can win the chair after the 3 before him failed because of GOP infighting. Well before he secured the nomination, Mike Johnson, Republican of Louisiana, played a key role in the efforts by then President Donald Trump and his allies to overturn Joe Biden's electoral victory in the 2020 election. Johnson, who currently serves as the GOP caucus vice chair and is an ally of Trump, led the amicus brief signed by more than 100 House Republicans in support of a Texas lawsuit seeking to invalidate the 2020 election results in 4 swing states won by Biden. That was Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. So you got an election denier, somebody that was involved in trying to overthrow the election, and they want that guy to be the next Speaker of the House. On Monday, Chevron announced plans to acquire oil and gas company Hess for $53 billion in stock. Less than 2 weeks prior, ExxonMobil announced it's acquiring the oil company Pioneer Natural Resources for $59.5 billion in stock. What's going on here? I thought we were going green. On Tuesday, the International Energy Agency released its annual World Energy Outlook report, projects global demand for coal, oil, and natural gas will hit an all-time high by 2030. A prediction the IEA's executive director, Faith Birol, had telegraphed in September. Quote, "They're in this in the long haul. They don't see oil demand declining anytime in the near term, and they see oil demand in fairly large volumes existing for at least the next 20 to 25 years. Wow. There's a major difference between what the big oil companies believe the future of oil is and the governments around the world. So interesting. They're not letting up one little bit on this fossil fuel, and City of Orlando buys the Pulse nightclub. They're gonna build a memorial to the massacre victims there. So they purchased the property that the Pulse nightclub is on. The gay nightclub was the site of the 216 mass shooting where a gunman killed 49 people and wounded 53 others. Richard Roundtree, star of the original Shaft, dies at 81 years old, pancreatic cancer. The actor's work as the powerful, unapologetic black male lead in the 1971 film, introduced into mainstream cinema the African-American action hero, unquote. Roundtree won a Peabody Award for his narration of The Rise and Fall of Jim Crow, a PBS documentary released in 2002, had a number of film credits, many film credits. Lastly, on the national stage, the estranged son of Nashville police chief, who was wanted in the shooting of 2 officers, has been found dead after a 4-day manhunt, according to Tennessee officials on yesterday. So we have about 5 minutes left to go on this segment, and just going to share with you some stuff on this war that's going on, which is constantly changing environment, but the deaths are just absolutely mounting. So well into the 19th day of the war between Israel and Hamas. According to ABC News, hospitals in Gaza on the brink of collapse. The UN Relief and Works Agency says Gaza will run out of fuel as soon as today, forcing hospitals to stop operations. An official with the U.S. Office of the Director of Intelligence told reporters Tuesday that the office had updated its assessment of the last week's explosion at Al-Hali Hospital in Gaza, which killed hundreds, and stated, quote, with high confidence that Israel was not responsible for the explosion, unquote. The official added, we assess with low confidence that the Palestine Islamic Jihad, PIJ, was responsible for launching the rocket attack that landed on the hospital. So So that seems to leave Hamas. The official added, nothing that they suspect based on their analysis that noting that the suspect based on their analysis that the rocket responsible likely suffered a catastrophic motor failure and, kind of veered off course, that it wasn't intended. At least that's what the assessment is now. At least 1,400 people have died and 4,629 others have been injured inside Israel, according to the Israeli authorities. In Gaza, 6,546 people have been killed and 17,439 have been injured, according to the Palestinian Health Authority. We have U.S. ships in the area. We have ships shooting down missiles. There's a protracted attack in northern Gaza. There's some attacking going on in southern Gaza. Israeli government told Palestinians to go to certain exit points, evacuation routes. People found them to be closed. This is a horrific event, and it's really a dangerous point that it's possible that the whole region can get drawn into this conflict. So we just keep our eyes on this and say our prayers for these people and say prayers for a cessation of the hostilities. It seemed like at some point in time there'd be enough pain and suffering that people would be willing to sit down at the table and talk to one another. So that wraps it up for today's Newsbreak show. We thank you so much for joining us. We Believe Digital Newsbreak. Thank you all our YouTube our platform subscribers, and specifically our YouTube subscribers, for pushing us over on Monday night, pushing us over the 1,000 subscriber mark. This is just a wonderful a milestone for us. We would love to see it go past 2,000 by the end of this calendar year, and we'll just be taking a look at that as we go along. More and more subscribers every single day, which means we're providing you with content that's helpful to you and is the kind of content that you're looking for. We've got all kinds of genres of content here, and recently our owner acquired an internet radio station, so we now have We Believe Radio, and we're working very hard on developing an app for that, so you can have that on your phone. But even now, you can just pause for a minute, go to the web, click We Believe Digital, one word, or WeBelieveDigital.com, go on the site and click on radio. Listen to it through the Bluetooth in your car when you're taking rides, going back and forth to work. All kinds of Southern soul, R&B, gospel, a wonderful radio lineup, and soon to be adding a daily news program to the radio station. Bet you anything that'll be happening before the end of this year. So thank you so much for part of being the We Believe family. We're very grateful for the producers that we have on hand, especially the young lady producing this show today, Chelsea, and all her hard work in getting this all done. Take good care of yourselves. We'll see you on Friday at 12 noon.
Looking for the hottest content in the city of Jackson and surrounding areas? Check out WeBelieveDigital.com. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We Believe Digital Podcast is here for all your podcasting needs.